In just the last 90 minutes, we're getting some new record-breaking numbers from ESPN with the women's college basketball tournament ending with just like gangbusters ratings. 19 million people just about tuning in to see South Carolina go undefeated and beat Iowa. That's up 89% from last year, up nearly 300% from a couple years ago. This is a monster, right? It is the most watched basketball game, period, in 5 years. Men's, women's, college, NBA, most watched hoops game, period. You see head coach of South Carolina, Dawn Staley, there she is, lifting that championship trophy over her head during this huge victory celebration on campus in just the last couple of hours. She says her players, who went undefeated, want to keep that string going.
They take winning and success very, very seriously. We hope that this is an annual day off.
We'll see if South Carolina can keep up the streak. Liz Koritz is joining us now. So, Liz, just to put these numbers in perspective, more people watched the women's final over the weekend than watched any World Series game last year, than watched any NBA playoff game last year, than watched the last decade's worth of Daytona 500s. I mean, it was a cultural moment for folks, for so many folks. The question is, can it last? Was this a Caitlin Clark, South Carolina lightning in a bottle moment, or does it set a new floor for women's sports? By the way,
that
Liz,
is the big question.
I don't actually expect you to have an answer to that. It's really a rhetorical question, I know, but talk me through it.
Well, okay, I just am racing back here to the Bureau from high school I was at and a middle school where I was talking to some young basketball players, some young women who are over the moon about this game. And I overheard, it was their lunch break, and I overheard some of the girls be like, did you watch the Iowa game last night? This does feel like it is a really big moment, a cultural moment and a huge momentous moment for young women, for women's basketball. They've been waiting for this moment for so long. It's been a long time coming. We know that there's been a number of stars in the WNBA, but now we're starting to see so many stars in college women's basketball. Caitlin Clark among, the top name that's basically become a household name. And that's what these young girls were telling me. They were like, it's so cool that we can go. They said they were bowling on Friday, and the big screen at the bowling alley was playing women's basketball. And they said, what? This is not men's basketball, it's women's. So we're really seeing this moment. And I think a lot of fans of this sport and new fans of this sport are hoping that this is not just a one-time thing, that this is the future of this game.
Speaking of, sort of capturing lightning in a bottle, Caitlin Clark was just, she's such a driver of monster ratings, not just for the championship game, but throughout the tournament at all. And the South Carolina coach gave her props, right? She said, like, Caitlin Clark is one of the GOATs. What happens to Caitlin Clark from here, right? She's declaring this is not the end of her story.
No, it's not. And I think so many people are so just proud to see that moment. I think to see the sportsmanship in the sport, to see how the South Carolina coach could just offer that praise to Caitlin Clark, because she really has elevated the sport in so many ways. And she has a big future ahead of her. She's essentially, it seems like, going to be the #1 draft pick in the WNBA, which is coming right up. And hopefully, I was talking to some sports analysts about this, that they really think the fact that the draft for the WNBA is happening just on the heels of this finals is going to elevate the WNBA moving forward. And so she's going to be the #1 draft pick. And it seems apparently tickets for the draft have already been sold out. They've sold out in minutes. And the game that she's expected to play when she gets drafted, the next game, apparently they've already moved to a bigger stadium in anticipation for the fact that she's going to be selling out bigger and bigger stadiums.
And real quick, Liz, what does this? It is. And what does it say, though, right, about men and women's sports? Again, we can't say it enough. The numbers we're just getting in literally in the last 30 minutes. Bigger than any game, including the NBA, right, in the last 5 years. It's amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. I think it's fun. We talk so much about the Taylor Swift effect, the Beyonce effect, this sort of year of the woman, and it feels like this is just an extension of that, and women are the future. I actually asked those girls, those middle school and high school girls, I said, is this the future? And they're like, we are in the future. This is now. So for them, this is just the reality. It's really cool.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.